Hello everyone, it's Matt here from Scoop in Response. Today we are going to be checking out a new commander from Zendikar Rising, Phylath, the World Sculptor. The direction we took for this commander is that of a landfall deck with a few Scapeshift style combos. We're going to be using powerful landfall creatures and bounce effects on our commander to make some janky combos, which seem to fit nicely around a very solid mid-range plan. Obviously we're going to have lots of creatures, lots of lands in the deck. Let's have a look at the commander first of all. Phylath reads as follows. When Phylath, World Sculptor enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each basic land you control. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put 4/+1 counters on a target plant you control. The deck is quite expensive thanks to a few choice cards such as Gaia's Cradle and Mox Diamond, but on MTGO it sits quite comfortably at 180 ticks, making it more than affordable. We've got 39 lands, 29 creatures, 13 sorceries, 5 instants, 5 enchantments, 5 artifacts, and 3 planeswalkers. Let's take a look at the list. With a whopping 39 lands, our chance of mana screw is pretty low. We've got a full set of all playable fetches, an assortment of relevant dual land, Gaia's Cradle, and a whole bunch of basics for mana access and to take advantage of our commander's ability. We run all of the lands that make you friends with Strip Mine, Wasteland, Ghost Quarter, and Field of Ruin. The deck also uses the lands you'd expect to see in Amulet Titan with Gruul Turf, Vesuva, Field of the Dead, and Valakut to occasionally take down the game with one big Scapeshift effect. For creatures, we're very mid-range focused, rampy things that ramp, stompy things that stomp, and landfally things that landfall. You should never really run out of things to do with the number of large creatures present in the deck. We'll be sure to tackle the landfall effects later on in more detail. For sorceries, we have a lot of early ramp, as well as some medium-sized ramp cards. And to round it off, we have a few large ramp cards. Also, tutors because they're good. Instants include a bit of everything. Protection, tutors, card draw, and ramp. We've gone super light on artifacts, as we're playing quite a few stacks effects like Null Rod and Oof in our creatures. Thankfully, Amulet and Crucible are unaffected by these. The only bricks will be Sol Ring and Phyrexian Altar if we've got either of those stacks pieces out. For enchantments, we're running mostly staples in Carpet of Flowers, Exploration, Sylvan Library, and these are rounded out with Impact Tremors and Rhythm of the Wild to speed things up and hurt our opponents. Our planeswalkers are very land-centric, with red and 6 and a pair of Nisses. Of course, there are loads of suitable planeswalkers in these colours that will complement the deck, but we opted for a higher creature and land count instead. So landfall is our core theme, but what does that really mean? Well, in order to get a landfall trigger, we have to play lands. So we're going to be ramping. We're going to be ramping very, very hard, because whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, we get to do the thing. Most of these things are about us having the biggest, scariest board on the table. So you should expect to get board wipe and become the archenemy if you go too hard, too fast. We've got a huge number of cards that grant us extra land plays, or extra access to land cards, as well as a huge number of landfall abilities that are our payoff for these extra land plays. The two primary combos in the deck are Temur Sabertooth and Dockside Extortionist, which can often net us infinite mana, as well as Ashaya and Kyrian Ranger. Kyrian Ranger and Ashaya is the primary combo for the deck. With just the two of them, they can create infinite landfall triggers, as Kyrian Ranger can bounce herself and untap a creature, which is also a forest that can be tapped for mana. So with these two cards, you can have a bucket load of functional instant wins with just one extra card. This is why Shared Summons or Tooth and Nail are great pieces in the deck. So with these two cards, you can have infinite creatures with Baloths, Scoot Swarm, and Omnath, infinite mana with Rhythm of the Wild, Kyrian Ranger can be tapped before it bounces itself, infinite mana with Lotus Cobra, infinite life with Courser of Krufix, infinite combat steps with Morag, infinite damage to opponents with Impact Tremors, infinite card draw with Beast Whisperer, huge plants with Avenger of Zendikar, and infinite plants, of course, with Phylath. You'll notice that so many of these landfall combos become infinite mana as soon as you add something like Phyrexian Altar, which is why we've included it in the deck. The same can be said about Valakut. As soon as you meet all of the conditions, continuously bouncing your Kyrian Ranger is basically a machine gun. You can achieve similar effects to Kyrian Ranger with using other bounces that are included in the deck, with things like Temur Sabertooth and Mirren Den. It's harder to go infinite as you'll need extra pieces and cost reduction, but you can achieve the same result with a bit more of a complicated setup. Infinite combo loops aside, Scapeshift can often represent a single card kill to one or more opponents. To kill a player from 40 life, you need 14 Valakut triggers, which can be achieved with any of the following setups. 8 lands fetching Vesuva if a Valakut is already on the field, 8 lands plus an Ancient Green Warden, fetching a Valakut and 7 mountains, 15 lands fetching 14 mountains and Valakut. This is really only achievable if Dryad is on the field, or Nahiri's Lithoforming plus graveyard land access with an Ancient Green Warden or Ramanap Excavator, assuming you have Valakut on the field. This is obviously much harder unless you've already generated infinite mana. Up until recently, I've really only been able to play Commander in a tabletop setting, as I haven't had access to an MTGO account, which is where I really discovered Card Hoarder. I'll leave a link in the description for my affiliate code if you would like to jump on board and try their card hiring service as well. I found it really cost effective in brewing and trying out a whole range of different decks, as you can simply return any cards after you're done using them and build a new deck. The craziest thing about it as a tabletop player is that I had no idea that so many crazy expensive reserve list cards are less than a few dollars on MTGO. Cards like Guy's Cradle, cards like Mox Diamond, only a tick or so to hire for each of these. If you've liked any of the content that you've seen on the channel so far, I'd really appreciate a subscribe and a like on the video, and any share is more than appreciated. We've just hit 40 subscribers, which is pretty fantastic. I'd love to be able to grow the channel to 100 subscribers in the coming few videos, so every single sub really helps. I'm looking to increase the rate at which I produce content and get it out there. Thanks for checking out the video, and I hope you enjoy the deck tech, and I will see you next time.